All right. Well, thank you. I think we'll go ahead and get started this morning. This is, again, our ProLink Technology Live 2022 conference, our user group conference. It is open to both our client agencies that we work with that are using ProLinkHFA and ProLink Plus, and our even ProLink AIM that supports our syndicator and investor clients. We also have some of our partners joining us that support the technology side and the services side to some of what we do. And anybody else who has an interest in what we're talking about over these couple of days in our conference this year. So again, I appreciate everybody's attendance and time taken out of your normal work schedule to attend this conference and be a part of the conversation and get some training. It really does make a difference to us and helps us steer and make sure we're serving your needs as best as possible. So thank you very much. I hope people got some good content yesterday. All of these sessions are live. I just wanted to mention that as well. So none of this is pre-recorded. Everything is live. So please take advantage of using comments. I'm going to go over some of that housekeeping in just a minute, but we're all here looking to hear from you. And we hope to bring you another good day of both, discussion and also training. So moving forward, going through a little bit of our housekeeping. This session is our What's New session. I'm Kreuter. I'm the Executive VP for ProLink. A lot of you know me. And then Andrea Beckley is a product owner for us on ProLinkHFA. So she's going to be the one presenting our What's New section this year. And I'm really excited to have her with us. Before we get started, just a couple of those housekeeping items. So you see we're advertising our gift cards that we've been giving away. I have some winners to announce on a couple slides down. The chat feature, I just mentioned it. Make sure you're using that. When you do post to that chat, you're posting to everybody on the CVent platform. So all of your friends get to see your messages. But please share questions there and we'll provide answers I don't expect to have any issue getting answers back through that chat. If we have any issue with that, we'll be following up separately to address the questions. But it's great when the questions are asked to do it through chat so everybody can see the question that they may also have, and then the response also is visible to everybody else. We're recording all of these sessions, but the chat feature is not recorded. It's not available in the recording. So those questions will be delivered, the Q&A content. We hope to consolidate that and send that out after the conference. But I just want to make sure that you guys take advantage of that and get your questions answered as much as possible through these sessions. So polls, you guys got familiar with polls yesterday. Those of you who attended, we are doing polls across pretty much every one of our sessions this year, and it's a great way to engage with each other. You have to actually go to that polls section on the right-hand menu right below chat. When we do run a poll, you go there to see the question and provide your response, and then you get the real-time results once we close the poll. So that will continue today. You can see when you are on the CVent page and you go into the session you're planning to join, at the very bottom, we have a session content area. And that's where you're going to find any materials for that session that we're making available to you. So yesterday, we had Jennifer Schwartz start us off with the keynote, and her slide deck is available in that keynote session at the very bottom, right here in session content. And that is consistent throughout each one of our sessions yesterday and today, if you'd like to grab those materials after the sessions. Okay, so we have some exciting winners to announce. So these are our HFA representatives and friends who attended some of our coffee and bagel events yesterday. We had Mary Todd from Idaho, LaTanya James from Illinois, and then Elena from Virginia, Elena Henderson from Virginia Housing. They are our winners for the gift cards participating in those coffee and bagel sessions yesterday. So thank you guys for that. We appreciate it. Just a reminder on how that works. When you go into your main CVent page, I think maybe a couple slides up I'll explain this, but there is there's you have to join it through Cvent, and then there's rooms that we have available where up to 6 people can join each room. So it's meant to provide that kind of intimate crowd. It's not so many people where it's difficult to speak and we're talking over each other. So I do encourage you guys to participate in that. So starting our polls, and I think we'll finish up with a little more housekeeping at the end, but with our polls, we would like to practice that again before handing it off to Andrea. The first one is, have you viewed any quarterly release recordings uploaded to Procorum? So we do quarterly releases, and we've started a practice where we've actually recorded the demo of new features and new changes. And we're wondering if you guys could respond, go to that poll section and respond and let us know if you've actually viewed those recordings that we upload them to Procorum. I don't know, maybe some of you don't, that might not be part of your review process, depending on your role in the agency, or you might have that shared in a different capacity rather than through Procorum. But let us know if you do view those or see those on a regular basis. And I'm going to close that poll in about 15 seconds or less. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to close that poll, and I think the results are going to be published for me in just a minute on the next slide. So I'll wait for my team to catch up with me. All right, let's move to the next page. Okay, there we go. So have you viewed those quarterly release recordings? So yes, 28%. That's actually more than I expected given the mix of crowd today. No, 22%. And I didn't know these existed. I kind of expected that given the mix of people we have on today. So thank you for that. We appreciate your responses. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Andrea. She'll begin her section, and then we can wrap up again, reminding you about how the coffee and bagel experience kind of works and where we get there at the end of this session. Okay, thank you. And Andrea, go ahead and take it away. You should be able to share your screen now.
Okay, thanks, Bree. Oh, I think you might have to stop sharing, Bree.
Oh, whoops. Stop share. There you go.
Okay, let me just get a quick confirmation that you can see my screen.
Yeah, you're
All
good.
Right. Awesome, thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ProLinkHFA What's New session. I'm going to highlight a few of our new features from this past year. I'm going to dive right in. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is creating a work center with a selected template in ProLinkHFA. You should see my HFA application here. I'm going to go into Perform really quick first and just kind of show you a template. So I'm going to go to a Work Center account that I have, and I'm going to show you some templates that are already existing. So I created this a couple days ago specifically for ProLink Tech Live. So in here, I don't have this tied to any project. This is just a template I created. I created a couple of folders in here, created a welcome post, and I created just a general. So this is just a template I've created. And so when I have a property that I want to create a work center for, in my HFA application, I'll just come in, I'll find that property. And then once you're in the property, there's a link to set that primary work center. You just click on that. And then you will create a new work center, and that will give you the template option here. It will pre-fill with the work center name and the work center owner. You can change these if needed. And then for the template, I'm just going to find that template that I had in Procorum, so my A/B test demo. I'm going to import the files and folders that I had. I'm going to import my tasks. And I'm going to give them a due date of like 60 days in the future. And I'm going to import my post. You can also import collaborators. If your work centers are going to have the same collaborators, you can do that here as well. For the purposes of this demo, I'm actually not going to do that. I would just hit save and return when I have everything completed. And then just click OK if you want to proceed. It'll take the system just a couple minutes to generate that work center for you. So I've got it generated, and then now this link changes from set primary work center to primary work center. So when I click on that, it's going to shoot me over to Procorum. And you'll see that I have the same folders, the application and documents folder. I have my welcome post, and I have my task for 60 days in the future. All right. Next up, we introduced some functionality to make activating and inactivating properties, buildings, units a lot easier. It was a little bit tedious to go in and do one by one, so this hopefully will allow for a better user experience to do a bulk update. Let me go back to ProLinkHFA here. I'm going to go to a different property that I have set up. All right, so I have a couple buildings here and several units. I'm going to click into my units listing so you can see that there's 2 buildings assigned to different units. So I've got 4 units on building 1 and 4 buildings on building 2. So if I come back to my buildings, and if I inactivate a building, it's going to inactivate all the units under that building. So to inactivate, you would just uncheck the active box and hit save and return. It'll take the system a minute to process the request. And then once that happens, you'll see your numbers update over here. So now I've only got 1 active building and 4 active units. If I come back into my units list, you will see that the units on building 1 are no longer active. There's a new active call over here, and you'll see yes or no if they're active. And so if I go back into buildings and activate, everything should reactivate as well. So it's just kind of the opposite steps. Go into the building, click on that active box, hit save and return. The system will again process the request. And then your buildings are all active as well as those units. So this should allow for a little bit easier, especially when you have, maybe a dozen buildings and hundreds of units. All right, next up, we added the home student fields to ProLinkHFA for our agencies that use the home program. These fields are available on each household member record. To get to these, you just go into a unit, and then once in the unit, you'll click on your tenant events. There's a tenants event tab here. Click on the event. And I'm going to go to my household members tab and a member record here. And I will see those home student information fields here. And you can select these as needed. I also want to point out that these are available on the tenant portal app as well. I'm going to click on that primary work center and go over to my Procorum app. I'm going to click in the tenant portal. I'm going to find that same tenant event that I was on. So by getting there, just click View Events. Click into Building 1. Click on my event. And then go into my household members and then the household member. And then you'll see those home student fields here as well. If I were to fill these out on the portal or in the back office and hit save, the two systems will talk to each other and will update in real time. So I've updated here in the tenant portal. If I come back here, I'm actually going to click out and not hit refresh. Anytime you hit refresh, it actually is a save. So it would actually mark those back as still only. So I don't want to do that. I'm going to go out and come back in to this event. All right, and you will see my selections are showing here in the back office, and they will match to my Procora map. All right, next up, we added comments hubs to TCA and Dev Deals. So you'll now be able to add and view comments in a comments hub for TC and Dev Deals. These comments hubs will work exactly like they do on Portfolio Properties Comments Hub. So let me show you that. I'm going to go to a Dev Deal. And then over here on my left navigation, I'm going to have a comments hub. If I just click into that, I'll be given a screen to enter comments. So I can add a new comment and then post. And this will keep all your comments for this Dev Deal. And you can search if you want to. And clearing search by source or category, just the same as Portfolio Properties. And that is the same on TC Deals as well. All right, related to that, we also added data views for comments hubs to several objects. So we added a comments data view for Portfolio Property, Dev, TC, SF Dev, Grants, REO, and Supportive Services. So in your data views menu, under Dev, you'll have comments, TC, Portfolio Property, all those objects I listed. Here's Portfolio Property, here's the comments data view. Click into there, and you'll have a data view pop up. So you'll have your basic information for the property or the deal, and then your comment information. So you can build views if you want based on what's in the comment, or you can export to Excel and build reporting that way for your comments. So there's some options there. All right. The next item I'm going to talk about is UDFs, or user-defined fields. We added user-defined fields to several objects this year. Those objects are compliance audit, compliance programs, escrows, loan escrow account deposit adjustments, loan escrow account disbursement, dev deal change orders, dev disbursements, dev escrow agreements, dev escrow agreements escrows funds, dev and TC construction control, and dev and TC construction control inspection. I know that's a long list. Those are all in the release notes, so please feel free to look at the release notes for that complete list. I do want to kind of go through and remind everybody that you actually have to create UDFs on the object before that custom fields tab will show. So I'm going to just do a quick reminder of that. So let me go into the dev construction control inspection. I've actually got one set up here. All right, so I'm going to be on a construction control inspection record. So I do not have a custom tab here. That's where the UDFs would show when they are entered onto the object. So I'm going to duplicate my screen here. So it's easy to get back to that. And then to add UDFs, you'll come down to your utilities panel. And then under the miscellaneous folder, there's a user-defined field. Click onto that. And then just find the object that you want to add those user-defined fields to. So in this one, it's the dev construction control inspections. So I'm going to click on that object. All right, so you can see I have no user-defined fields. I'm going to go ahead and add a field. So you just type in the name. Pick what data type you want. So we have this pick list of different options. I'm going to do just a text area for this one. And then you can fill out any display information. So I'm just going to put a category on here. All right, and I'm going to hit save and return. And that will save my UDF. Okay, and then you can just continue adding all the fields you need. And then once you have finished adding everything that you would need, come back to that object. I'm going to go back out to construction control and come into this inspection record. And now you see the custom fields tab and that new UDF that I have created. Another quick reminder, as long as you have marked the item as true to display on data views, then these will be immediately available in data views as well. So if I come to my data views and go to my construction control inspections, there we go. All right, so now I can click on my view manager and I can create a new view. And I just give my new view a name. And then I can find my UDFs. So it's actually going to be under the category name that you gave it. So I put main on there, and then my text box was my field name. So I see that here. I can add that, and then I can save my new view. The system will take a minute to process that request. And then it should show in this drop down here. I'll do a quick manual refresh and come back into this data view. And then I have that new view with that user-defined field that I added. I'll just click that and the system will generate my new view. You should see that UDF pop up over here. All right, there it is. So that's just a quick reminder on how to add UDF, since we did give that ability to several objects this year. All right, moving on. We did also add some expand and collapse functionality to the activities menu item when you're on a property. We did this as a user group request. We had the request to turn those list screens into something where you could add the different data that you see in those lists. So what we did was we got the expand and collapse functionality, as well as we turned those screens from list screens into data views. So you can actually use the view manager and build your own data views. So let me go back into a property here. I can demonstrate that for you. So your agency activities link over here, you can actually expand and collapse this just by hovering and clicking on it. And then when you want to go into any of your activities, I'm going to click into my TC activities. Instead of having a list screen, you will now have a new data view. So you can add, similar to kind of what I just demonstrated, you can add a new view with UDFs or any other identifying information that you would want for the deals onto these data view screens and have the listing that you would want to see. Or you could have multiple listings, like if you wanted, 8609 approves, something like that. You could show all of your approvals, or anything that isn't approved. You could build the different views for the information that you need to use in these list screens. All right, the next item I'm going to talk about is the 8823 attachment. So let me go show 8823. I'm going to go into my buildings. I'll just click into building 1. Click on tax forms, and I've got my 8823s here. Just add an 8823. All right, so on number 11, there are several items here that have attached explanation. And we didn't really have anything that would print out an explanation. So we've added text boxes for you all to add any explanations you may have. So as you're filling this out, you'll have to click the out of compliance box and then just add your comments. Once you're done filling out, one or all of these items that need any explanations, be sure to save and then create your IRS form. Oh. Alrighty, now I'm going to hit create IRS form, and my PDF will download. Click there to view it. All right, so your PDF form will be filled out just as it was prior, and you'll have to scroll past all of the instructions. And then at the end here, there is a PDF that lists the number of the violation and the description, and then your explanation, and then it gives some building information here. So that you can send this along with your 8823 to explain anything that might be out of compliance. All right, I'm gonna close out of that. Next up, we had another user group request to allow the users to expand and collapse units by building in the tenant portal app. When you have several buildings and hundreds of units, scrolling that page can get kind of tedious. So I'm going to shoot back over to my Procorum Work Center. I'm just clicking that link there and coming over here. And I'm going to go to my tenant portal. I'm just going to come into my tenant events for 2021. And I can expand all of my buildings here with this main expander arrow, or I can do one or more at a time. We also did do this as a config setting. So if you actually prefer having all of your buildings and units listed on the one page to scroll, you can undo the config settings so that you don't see this. So let me show you how to do that. So you have to go to your account. So you put that here in the breadcrumb. And then go to Account Apps. And click on the Tenant Income Certification app. This will give you your config settings that you can set. And so you'll see turn on expand collapse by building name here. So I'm just going to uncheck that and then save. And save is up here at the right. All right, and then I'm going to go back over here and come back into my tenant portal. Come back into my events. And now you'll see all of my buildings and units are just listed on the screen. So you'll just scroll down as you need to. So again, that config setting is in your accounts here. Turn on expand collapse by building name. Just click that or unclick it, whichever you prefer. Hit save. And then your app will save that config setting. So. All right. I do have a poll question. Jim or Sam, if you're out there, if you could open that poll question for everybody. I'll give everybody just a few seconds to answer that poll question. All right, we can close the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Andrea, is that the tenant portal question?
Yes.
Do you want me to share my screen? I think they'll put the results in there for us.
Okay, sure.
Okay, you need to stop sharing and I'll grab it for you.
Alrighty.
Okay, you should be able to see it. Okay, have you used the building collapse feature in tenant portal yet? Yes, 7%. Only 7% so far. No, 53%. And I didn't know it existed, 40%.
Wow.
So good thing
well,
we had this session this morning.
Yes, hopefully if you're not using it, now you know how to use it with the config setting, and yeah, hopefully that will make your lives a little easier.
Great.
All right.
Thank you, Andrea. Are you
Yep.
done?
Nope. I've got a couple more items, so I'll take the
you-
screen back from you.
Yep. There you go.
All right. Let's see. Make sure I share the right one here. All right. The next item I have is also here in the tenant portal. It's another config setting. So let me close this here. I'm going to go into a tenant event. And we have a new owner agent assumptions section down here. And this has the AMI percent for income and the AMI percent for rent. So we can have the owner agents view or enter this information here if you wish. This is also a config setting. So back where I was, where I turned on that building expand and collapse, there is a turn on owner agent assumptions section. So if you don't want your owner agents to see this, you can actually unselect the box and just hit save. I'm going to do a quick refresh, and that section will not appear. I'm going to turn that back on. And just like everything with Tenant Portal, if you change anything here, it will talk to the ProLinkHFA application and update that in real time. So I updated that from 60 to 50. And then if I come back to that same event, we'll see the 50% on those fields in HFA. I'm going to go into my units, my tenant events, the event that I was looking at. And then these fields are actually on the additional tab. And so you'll see there's the 50%. And that is what I updated it to here. Those are also new this year. There was also a user group request to allow for custom messages in the tenant portal. So this is also a config setting in this account app here. There's this custom information banner text, and that is the announcement box that you see on the tenant portal main page. That's this yellow box here. So this is your general message. This is just kind of a static message that would be shown. And this is what will show unless you do a custom message. So you can just click that box, type in what you want everybody to see, click save, and then your custom message will be visible on that tenant portal. And then I do want to just point out right over here to the right, there's a little toolbar. You can do all sorts of fancy things here. You could do bullet points if you wanted to. And then when you're finished typing everything, just hit save. And then that message will appear in your tenant portal. All right. And then just lastly, I'd like to just take a couple minutes to remind everybody of the question mark icon up here. When you click on that, it will take you to our help text content. There's a plethora of information in here. You can search for various things that you want to maybe find out or learn about how the system behaves. So please feel free to utilize this. It should take you to a page that you are on. So if I was in a property and on units, I'm looking at the tenant event information here. There are a few things that we are still building out, so it may not take you directly to what you're looking for. So we continue to improve upon this help text, but we really want to make sure everybody's aware that it's out here. In this left nav over here, there's also a release notes link. Just want to remind everybody of that too. So this is where all of our current and past release notes are. If I click on 2022, my most current release notes are here at the top, and I can go back. And you can go back to 2021 and prior. So just want to remind everybody about that really quickly. And that's really all I have to demo today. So for more information on the features we released this year, please see these release notes as well as those quarterly videos. And Marie, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Andrea.
Thank you.
All right, stop your share and then I'll grab the screen again. And we'll wrap up this session for everybody. Again, reminder, on that session page, you'll see the presentation materials available to you at the very bottom under session content. So you can see that for the what's new session right now. And then we're going to be taking in as many surveys as we get through this conference. So please take advantage. There's a survey link. It's anonymous, or I think you at least have the option to be anonymous. We would love to hear from you. We would love to improve as much as we can for next year. And then moving forward, excuse me. I'm sorry, my deck kind of went a little fast on me. The last thing I just wanted to mention was the area to go to our coffee and bagel. Can someone message me really quick? We're ending a little bit early. What time is coffee and bagel open? Can we join there right now? Okay, 9:45. So in 3 minutes, we're going to open our coffee and bagel area, and you should be able to join us there. And we will spend about 15 minutes there leading up until our 12 p.m. Eastern session. So that's how we're going to be there. If you do join and participate, you are immediately eligible to win a gift card. So we encourage you to be there. And I'll be there. So I'll talk to a few of you in just a couple of minutes. And I, again, hope everybody enjoys the conference today. Please provide feedback, and we will see you in the sessions throughout the day. Thank you.